What if a nation that was once considered nothing more than a dark horse ends up lifting the 2026 FIFA World Cup? What if a team whose players were largely born in France, Spain, Belgium, the Netherlands, and even Canada manages to defeat the giants of world football? And perhaps most controversially of all, what if a country that was not even considered part of the global elite just a few years ago becomes the first African nation ever to win the World Cup? It sounds impossible, but then again, wasn't that exactly what people said when Morocco reached the semifinals of the 2022 FIFA World Cup? Today, Morocco is no longer the same team. They are now ranked 7th in the world, the highest position in the nation's history. They arrive at the 2026 World Cup with a more mature golden generation, greater squad depth, and a wonderkid named Ayyoub Bouaddi, who is already making football fans around the world fall in love with his game. So before laughing at Morocco's chances of becoming world champions, it might be worth considering one important fact. The world may be witnessing the rise of a new international football powerhouse. In this video, we'll take a closer look at Morocco's chances of winning the 2026 FIFA World Cup and the reasons why the world should no longer underestimate the Atlas Lions. Let's get started. Morocco is no longer an underdog. If anyone still believes Morocco is merely a surprise package, they probably have not been paying attention to world football over the past few years. Morocco's success can no longer be described as a fluke. Their run to the semi-finals of the 2022 FIFA World Cup was not the result of a lucky draw or a few fortunate matches. They defeated Belgium, eliminated Spain on penalties, and knocked out Portugal before eventually falling to France in the semi-finals. Since then, Morocco has continued to improve. Unlike many surprise teams that fade away after one great tournament, they have kept progressing. They have strengthened their squad, improved their foundations, and maintained consistency at the international level. Now they arrive at the 2026 World Cup as the 7th-ranked team in the world, the highest ranking in Moroccan football history. What makes this even more interesting is that many observers believe the 2026 squad is stronger than the team that reached the semi-finals in 2022. Back then, Morocco relied heavily on defensive organization and fighting spirit. Today, they still have those qualities, but they also possess significantly more individual talent. Achraf Hakimi is at the peak of his career. Yassine Bounou remains one of the world's finest goalkeepers, while young players such as Bilal El Khanos, Ismail Saibari, and Ayyoub Bouaddi bring an entirely new dimension to the midfield. When a team combines experience, squad depth, and confidence, the underdog label gradually disappears. At that point, they become genuine contenders, and that is exactly what Morocco has become. The draw against Brazil was a warning to the world. Many people viewed Morocco's 1-1 draw against Brazil as just another group stage match. However, for many football analysts, it was a powerful statement that Morocco is ready to compete with anyone in this tournament. In fact, during several phases of the game, Morocco looked more comfortable in possession than Brazil. They did not play like a team intimidated by one of football's traditional giants. They did not spend the entire match defending. Instead, they pressed aggressively, attacked with confidence, and repeatedly put Brazil's defense under pressure. Ismail Saibari's goal was proof that Morocco did not come to this World Cup merely to survive the group stage. They came to compete. What made the result even more significant was the reaction from international media after the final whistle. Many reports suggested that Brazil were fortunate to escape with a draw. Several observers highlighted how Morocco exposed weaknesses within the Brazilian side and made one of the tournament favorites struggle to impose their usual style of play. If a team can make Brazil uncomfortable in an opening World Cup match, then that team clearly possesses quality that cannot be ignored. In a short tournament such as the World Cup, confidence is everything. That draw may have earned only 1 point in the standings, but its impact on the mentality of Morocco's players could be worth far more than a single point. Ayyoub Bouaddi could be the secret weapon. Every World Cup winning team usually has one young player who suddenly becomes the center of global attention. In 1998, it was Michael Owen. In 2018, it was Kylian Mbappe. In 2022, it was Enzo Fernandez, and in 2026, the name beginning to emerge in that conversation is Ayyoub Bouaddi. At just 18 years old, the Lille midfielder immediately captured attention in his competitive debut for Morocco. What impressed people most was not merely his technical ability, but his composure. Playing against Brazil in a World Cup is intimidating even for experienced professionals, yet Bouaddi looked as though he had been competing at that level for years. His story is also emotionally compelling. Born in France and having represented French youth teams, Bouaddi chose Morocco only weeks before the World Cup began. The decision sparked intense debate because many believed he would become part of France's future. Now, after his impressive performance against Brazil, many see him as a symbol of the success of Morocco's diaspora project. If Morocco reaches the final or even wins the tournament, Bouaddi could become one of the defining faces of the World Cup. Football history has shown time and again that the emergence of a wonderkid can sometimes change everything. Morocco's greatest strength is its diaspora project. For years, Morocco faced criticism for relying heavily on players born outside the country. Ironically, that very strategy has become one of the nation's greatest strengths. Hakimi was born in Spain, Nassar Mazraoui in the Netherlands, Bonu in Canada, and Bouaddi in France. They developed within some of Europe's finest football academies before choosing to represent their ancestral homeland. The result is a unique combination of European football education and a strong Moroccan identity. What we are witnessing today is not luck. It is the product of a long-term project carefully built over many years. What makes this project even more fascinating is the role of coach Mohamed Wahabi. Before taking charge of the senior national team, he guided Morocco to the 2025 FIFA U20 World Cup title, defeating several football powerhouses and overcoming Argentina in the final. That achievement demonstrated that Morocco possesses not only a golden generation of players, but also coaches who understand how to build championship-winning teams. Many of the young players expected to lead the Atlas Lions in the future developed within systems he helped shape. If Morocco makes a deep run at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, it will not be solely because of individual brilliance. It will also be because they are led by someone who has already proven capable of making history with Morocco's young talents. If Morocco wins, football history will change forever. For nearly a century, the World Cup trophy has been dominated by nations from Europe and South America. Africa has produced many outstanding teams, but none has ever reached the summit of world football. That is why a Moroccan World Cup triumph would mean far more than simply winning a trophy. It would fundamentally change the way the world views African football. Countries that have long been considered outsiders would suddenly see proof that the barrier can be broken. Morocco would become world champions, but also the symbol of a new era in the global football landscape. And when all these factors are combined, Morocco's chances no longer sound like an impossible dream. They possess a golden generation led by Achraf Hakimi, an elite goalkeeper in Yassine Bonu, a rising wonderkid in Ayyoub Bouaddi, a successful diaspora project, and a coach in Mohamed Wahabi who has already delivered a FIFA U20 World Cup title. Every ingredient required to create a historic upset is already present within this team. That is why the question of Morocco becoming world champions is no longer merely a fantasy discussed by supporters. The real question is whether the 2026 FIFA World Cup will become the stage for the most historic story football has ever witnessed. If there is one lesson from Morocco's journey over the last few years, it is that football always leaves room for those willing to challenge the limits. From a nation that once struggled in the FIFA rankings to becoming one of the 7 best teams in the world, Morocco has shown that hard work, long-term vision, and the right generation of players can change everything. Will they actually become champions of the 2026 FIFA World Cup? Nobody knows. But one thing is certain, Morocco is no longer a team that can be overlooked. And if they manage to shock the world once again, just as they did in 2022, we may be witnessing the birth of the most historic World Cup champion the sport has ever seen. So, what do you think? Does Morocco truly have a chance to win the 2026 FIFA World Cup, or will they eventually fall when facing the biggest giants of world football? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more updates, stories, and fascinating content from the world of football.